What up, people? It's me. I just wanted to make this video really quick. I was sitting in class tonight and my phone started blinking, so I looked to see that I had an email, and it was a Gmail from Apple, and it said, Steve Jobs has died. And I'm like, oh my God. Like, it was just so blunt and just in the subject line, and just it just kind of struck me as odd, and not so much odd, but because I knew he was sick. He just looked very unwell, and having a mother who has cancer, I know what that looks like. So I knew he was not well. But it was just so sudden for it to be just like Steve Jobs has died. It was just wow. So I was sitting in class and we were talking about inequality and the legitimization of inequality and how we all buy into that, and how corporate structures are set up to make you think certain things and buy certain things. And I'm processing all of this, and I'm processing that this person has died who instrumentally changed the way the world looks, not just America, the way the world looks and the way the world operates. This one single person. And it just took me to this place where I remember in 5th grade, I was in Mr. DiAgostino's 5th grade class, and we had computers. That was the first time we had computers in class, was in 5th grade. And they would come in on these rollable tables, and there was like, we had hall monitors and then we had computer monitors. And the computer monitors would come to the classes at the end of the day and take the computers back to the computer room. And there was one guy, Mr. Harris, who was in charge of all of the computers. And it was in the 5th grade that we got computers, and if you were good and you finished your work, you got to go and do things on the computers. And it was always something educational. It wasn't like today where it's like bullshit on the computer. It was like we had these games where we had to like save whales and stuff. We had to multiply to save the whale so that the whale wouldn't die. And then I realized later on in life we were actually doing algebra, and I was like, whoa. So that's my first memory of a computer, and it was an Apple II computer. And I was like, Mom, I really want this computer. And at the time, in 1986, computers were like stupidly expensive. So my mother, who was a computer operator at the time, but she did like the mainframes, so she was like a tape librarian. My mother, at the time, in her infinite wisdom, felt like, I'm not spending all this money on this damn computer. My mother went to Radio Shack and got me a Tandy. For those of you, I'm really dating myself because my kids have no idea about this. She got me a Tandy computer, which was not really a computer. If you remember back, it was a keyboard. What you got was a keyboard and a thick ass book like this big, which was of basic code. So what you had to do was type in all of the basic code, and then after like 3 hours of typing exactly what was on the page, the code, you got to make a picture of like a house with a sun and a person walking back and forth or some shit like that. I was like, what kind of fucking computers? I felt so gypped. Like, I would go to school and be on the Apple and then come home to bullshit. I was so angry at my mother for so many years for that. Like, seriously. But I digress. That was my first experience with the power of a computer and how it changed my life. And over the years in school, the computers changed and they got different, and we got Windows, and we had Word and all that stuff. And as it is now, my life is spent on a computer because I'm an administrative assistant, so I work with my computer every day. And it's like this man had this vision, and he took that computer and made so many different things to the point where it's like you just sit back and think about, like, wow, that one person changed. Like, everybody in the world either has an Apple product, has used an Apple product, or knows what an Apple product is. Well, maybe like in some third world countries they may not, but I don't even know. They might know, back in the backwoods of Africa, what an iPod is. They might. They just might. I don't know. But I'm saying the majority of the world either has one, knows someone who has one for sure, or has touched one. And I think that's just amazing that one person can make such a tremendous difference in the world. So this was my video to pay homage to Steve Jobs and all that he's done for the world. And it will be amazing to see what goes on and what happens with Apple after his death. And I want to say I'm excited to talk to my grandkids about where computers started and where they will be when I have grandkids. Like, to talk to them and say, when I was your age. So thank you, Steve Jobs, and rest in peace.